couldn't hear you or see you. So it's going to be a little messy. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here on time. Yes, now I can see your comments as well. Amazing. Around 8 people. Okay. All right. So, firstly, I welcome you all, which is like a ritual now. Every Sunday we meet. I think this Sunday is little special because this is the last Sunday of this month. So, we are all going to wrap August on a positive note, on a note where we'll take a lot of things from this session and try to implement for sure. Let me know in the chat box if you are also equally excited the way we are, and then I'll introduce you to our guest of this evening. Without your confirmation, sorry, I'm not going to start this session. So now the ball is in your court. The kind of enthusiasm you are going to show me will reflect in our answers. Am I right, Preetham? Excited the way we are, and then Yes. Preetham, just confirm me if you're able to hear me as well.
Yes, I can see you and hear you clearly.
Superb. So I have not introduced you well, but let me tell you that our audience is super exciting audience. Every time we go live, they have a lot of questions. So you can take it for a fact that you're going to answer a lot of questions today.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to it.
So I get to see Learning Lighthouse saying good evening, good evening. Official Yogesh Tiwari has joined. Good evening, both of you. Incredible teacher of global language. Okay, I think we have a comment for you, Tutor Preetham. Now that a
Okay.
lot of learners have joined us in, I think I should introduce you. Should we? Should we begin?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of you, whoever is watching us live currently, firstly, congratulations because today we have come up with a lot of things in our session which we'll reveal one after the other. And those who would stay tuned, who try to be as active as possible and ask their questions or doubts generally, one of them would get a chance to join us live here and ask your question right from Tutor Preetham. So, I want to see you all active here. Who knows, you could be the one, the lucky one rather, to get an opportunity to speak to our tutor right in this live session. So now I want you all to stay as active as possible in the chat. And let's talk a bit about the guest of this evening, Tutor Preetham Patham. Tutor Preetham has joined us here for episode number 7 of English Yaari Talk Show. As I always say, and I would continue to say a zillion times, that it's the ultimate show where we talk about English in English. So now he is the one who would be helping us, who would act as a guiding light rather, to solve some of the questions we all have or help us set better clarity in our brain whenever we talk about English language. From past 7 years, he has been helping learners all across improve their communication. He's himself, I would say, language enthusiast. I'm sure that's right to say. So he is the one who's going to take up your questions, your doubts, and make learning a little easy. Because his journey, once you'll hear from his mouth, would surely give you a kick that if he can improve English, you can exactly do the same. Am I right, Tutor Preetham?
Wow, you couldn't be right more because, and thank you so much for that brilliant introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here once again and share my experience. Of course, I'll be able to influence and inspire a lot of people, a lot of language enthusiasts. Like I said, this language has to be a journey. It doesn't stop anytime. If you are truly passionate, then you have to really carry on practicing by yourself and, of course, learning from everything that you see, even little minor things.
Yes, that's true. Now that I've sown the seed of curiosity in all the learners by saying that your story is going to inspire them, a lot of times, a zillion times, people ask this question, ma'am, we didn't start learning this language early in our childhood days or in our school days. So now I think it's very difficult for me to acquire or have a good hold of this language. Why don't you spill some beans and share your story of learning English?
But I feel that that's the wrong mindset people carry. They feel that they reach a certain age and they think that they are not receptive enough of the language and they feel that it's going to take a long, long time, right? But if you uh, really set your mind on something and if you try everything, if you try to focus on the language in itself and as well all the listening, observing and trying to speak, the effort really shows, right? So I don't think that it's ever too late. When you're young, of course, your mind is really fertile and you can grasp the language much easily. But it doesn't mean that once you get older, once you're an adult as well, you can't do that. It is possible, but you may need to put a little extra effort. That's it.
True that. Okay. So, in which grade or at what part of your life did you learn this language? Or you became curious to acquire this hold on this language?
As a matter of fact, I used to be quite. I took my language for granted. I used to think that okay, I spoke well in a way. I felt that I spoke well and I could do reasonably well. Okay, until I faced one of the interviews after my college, because after my college, I started appearing for multiple interviews, only to realize that this communication skills is something that I greatly struggle with. And I remember not being able to answer even basic questions. So that was sort of a turning point. When I got rejected and my friends they sailed through, I realized what am I doing with my life? I can't even string a single sentence together. And I think that was the moment when I realized that I really need to do something about my English, about my communication skills. And since then, it just started. I'm talking about 2017 to be precise. And since then, my
Okay.
journey started and it's been going on. And I'm sure that it will carry on even after 20 years, 30 years. If I'm in this profession, then definitely I'll still be learning this language.
Absolutely. As they say, a tutor is always on a learning curve. You may feel that, okay, tutors are good with English. Now life is easy, life is sorted for them, but that's not true. You have to constantly brush up on your skills, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Preetham, I have an interesting question. So,
Uh-huh.
day before yesterday, I saw a reel in which a person was saying that I don't know how complicated this language is. Back then, when I was in my school or college, people used to say shower. Now it's shower. We used to say towel. Now it's towel. English is such a difficult or tricky language that every time I learn a pronunciation, sometime later it turned up to be completely new or a completely different one. So I want to know from you, since you have a great accent, or I would not say accent, but way of speaking, that you're very clear with your pronunciation, whatever you utter. How do you constantly make sure that you are pronouncing the words clearly and accurately?
Thank you so much. And the way how I go about it is only through shadowing. So I'm a big fan of shadowing technique, and I always harp on it. And I try to really imitate those of the likes of great speakers. I particularly look up to celebrity figures like Shah Rukh Khan and
Mm-hmm.
Abhishek Bachchan, Sohali Khan. They are like people who are really eloquent with their language. And in a way, I sometimes aspire to be like them or even speak like them on a public forum, and I'm able to really ignite the spirit in my audience, let's say. So I imitate, I shadow each and every line, each and every line. It's like singing a song. When we sing a song, we try to copy the tune, the melody, the
True.
crescendos of highs and lows, right? So I do that exactly when I'm listening to a conversation or when I'm watching a movie. And I
Mm-hmm.
think years of practicing in such manner seem to rub off on me, and I have developed this natural way of speaking or the pronunciation. But the thing is that I'm still learning once again. I may not get all the pronunciations correct, but yeah, it's a learning curve. And yeah, that's the way how
Mm-hmm.
I go about it.
Yes, so I literally laughed and I was like, oh God, that's so true. Yes, sometimes it happens where your pronunciation of certain words change. We all learned in our childhood days that there's a disease we call as asthma, and then it became asthma and a lot
Yes.
more. They said the only way you can be right at your pronunciation is constantly stay in touch with the language. Don't feel, okay, I've learned it and I'm sorted. I can manage with the similar words or I can manage with the similar tone, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes it's also being aware of different pronunciations because there's UK and there's US and also there's Indian pronunciation. I remember
True.
once I even had an argument with my cousin who seems to be a fantastic speaker. Okay, so there was this one time we were with a group of cousins, and my sister she corrected somebody, another of my cousin. She said
Okay.
somebody was saying that okay, there's a flower vase. Okay, and then she immediately jumped in, having this pedantic attitude, and she said, "No, it's not vase, it's vase." Okay, and then I was just sitting out there, I was just observing everything, and then I realized no, there are two pronunciations of the same word. It's vas and base, both are correct, right? So there are so
True.
many
Yeah.
words like that, and one needs to be aware.
Exactly, that's true. So you need to specifically check if I'm pronouncing it right. Pronunciation differs as per the different places. Absolutely, that's true. But it does. There are some people who change the way of speaking. Now there are some certain words which have same speech style. For example, memory. In any sentence, you would hear it memory. It's not memory, but we Indians tend to use or sounds, R sound really prominent in our speech, isn't it?
Yeah, that may have to do with the way how they speak their mother tongue. So it can, we cannot say for certain, but yeah, it does have to do with a little bit of mother tongue influence as well. But once again, listening is very important. Before speaking comes your listening. So once you can listen correctly and copy, and then you automatically speak well as well.
That's true. That's true. Somebody in the chat box has written that Rupal's English has written that he sounds like native. He's a brilliant speaker, inevitably. Now, I want to ask this. I'm sure a lot of learners would have asked you, so are you a native speaker or which accent do you speak in? So, why don't you drop a truth bomb in the chat box? Why don't you tell our learners about your background?
Okay, for all of those questions, the answer is always going to be the same. And yes, a couple of times people have asked me whether I live in the States or any other foreign country, but that has never been the case. I come from a very small town, Darjeeling, and I've never been out of this, probably because of lack of opportunities. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do attribute a lot of my the speaking abilities or pronunciation to movies. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to watch movies and really immerse yourself in the language because when you're watching movies, you're observing two people having conversation, right? And you really understand the nuances, and if you can copy them and if you can really repeat the phrases and expressions, it you seem to grow on it. And that's something that I have been doing for the past 5 7 years. Yeah.
Okay, all right. When we talk about movies, I see people, I've watched 10 movies, I've watched 15 movies, right? But there's a thing called quantity versus quality. When you
Yeah.
say watch movies, what do you actually mean by that? We should watch one new movie, one new show every day, or uh, the other way around? You stay with one movie and try to firstly master some of the words or phrases used in that and then move on to the next one.
Well, that's a brilliant question. Once again, it depends. It depends on your level. Or at this stage of mine, I think I'm trying to challenge myself to understand deep movies. For example, when you have a lot of conversation and interactions, right? I try to understand them. And I'm not saying that I understand 100% of them. Maybe 10% I'm still clueless what they're saying, the expressions. I forget to read between the lines. But if I were to suggest somebody who's just getting on with this language, who's trying to learn, then I would recommend them to watch something that hello, hello Shruti. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. So where was I? Okay, so I was talking about recommending movies to beginners. Then therefore they should start with something that they really enjoy. Hello Shruti, are you there?
True. Yes. I was
Okay.
absolutely there. No worries. Yes, please.
Okay, I couldn't see. I suddenly felt that I was talking to myself.
Okay, no problem.
Anyway, so let me. Uh, okay, so I was talking about movies. So
Movies.
beginner level
Yes.
learners or intermediate level learners should start with something that they really enjoy. Not because tutor Preetham or somebody told them to watch movies, then they have to force themselves to watch movies. Not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they should really enjoy the journey in itself, right?
Excellent.
And obviously, they should start with easy movies, animated movies, for example, kids movies,
Mm-hmm.
that they really enjoy, and they can do this weekly once or maybe multiple times a week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, somebody just wrote that Shruti ma'am disappeared. No, nothing like that. You would always find me around in your language learning journey, just present right here. Okay, so there's a question I think is by ultimately this learner called. Learning Lighthouse. I wish I could see your name. Said, what is the best way to improve your vocabulary? I can speak English fluently, but by limited words. So I think you're the right one today to answer this question once and for all. People have this notion, if I will learn a vocabulary word, I should have this in my memory. I should use them every time, but that doesn't happen. So it's like reality. You learn a lot of words, but you feel that, okay, I'll try to. But in your conversation, you do not speak. You end up relying on the common words you had. So, how do you learn versus how do you actually implement the words that you've learned in your language? That's my question.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, first of all, I've never been a big fan of learning 10 words a day or 15 words a day. So some learners, they may have this tendency to write down 10 words and memorize them. But I think in practical world, that doesn't seem to be working well for me. Everybody has their own way of learning the language, but for me, I just take a note of two or three expressions that I find it's very easy for me to use, something that I've never used it before. But
Mm-hmm.
this this particular word or a phrase or an idiom has the potential, okay, that I will be able to use it in my conversation. So just one or two, I take a note of it. I try to find multiple example sentences, and I try to imagine a scenario. Okay, in what situation will I be able to use this? Probably when I'm having a conversation with Shruti today, I'll be able to use this particular expression, and I imagine and I use it in my head, and it eventually happens as so. So I may subconsciously use that word because I've already imagined using it before. That is my
Yes.
technique, but it varies.
Absolutely, different people have different perspective, and I won't say that anything is wrong. It's just that people have tried and tested their own methodologies. What works for them, you can try, test it out, and then take your action. Right? As you said, that for you, it's more of that I'll pick up few sentences. So when I started watching movies, not movies exactly, podcast, or I would read books, I would sit with highlighter, and I wish I could show all the learners some of the books I read very early on in my life. At least 60% of the book was highlighted because I felt every complicated word is a new word for me, or every fancy phrase is a new phrase for me, so I should highlight. And cut to the end, I could never remember the words or the phrases or sentences that I highlighted. So that's when one thing came, and my tutor told me that it's not about picking everything from a book. You can even pick just one word from a book or maybe one takeaway from it. That's it. Your purpose of reading was solved. Or maybe you're watching a movie. If you could pick one thing from it, it's fine, right? Or in a 1 hour podcast, I used to watch a lot of people, foreign influencers making podcasts, having conversation on business and whatnot. And I would write around 40 words from the whole podcast. Or they use these words, which were new. Now, till date, I couldn't use those words. I wish I could, but not. And that's when I felt, and this is my way of thinking, that you just have to pick up a word or a phrase that feels like you or your tone. Everyone have different way of speaking. For example, my speech is a basic speech where I'll speak at I would not say slow pace, but a slightly normal pace. So the words which are little lengthy in speaking, I may not use it because that's not my tone or doesn't sound like me. What do you say, Preetham? We have to
Yeah,
choose the
everybody has
words
their
based
own
on
unique.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has their own unique way of speaking. I can't be Shruti, and Shruti can't be someone else, right? So in a way,
Absolutely.
you have your own flair. So many people admire you. Yeah. In fact, I should say this: my on record, my mother herself, she spends a lot of time learning this language, watching videos. Okay, and she's a big fan of you, and she
Oh,
says,
sweet.
"Okay, are you having a conversation with Shruti?" And she's a big fan, and because you have developed this flair of speaking, right? Likewise, there are so many other tutors or people who have acquired this language in a manner, right? I look up to so many people. Like I said, Shah Rukh Khan, the way how he speaks, right? Everybody
True.
has their own way, and we should not try and be someone like someone else, right? You develop
Yes.
your own way of speaking. The expressions and phrases that you use are just unique to yourself, and
And
we
as you
bring out
said
the.
that, yeah, learning a language is a journey. It reminded once I was listening to Zakir Khan, and he said that uh, I didn't know that it takes really less to wear fine clothes or good clothes.
Uh,
I also got to know that okay, I can manage good living or basic living when I could earn more, right? So
okay, okay.
when if I could complement or comprehend this whole learning experience, what I learned from him was when you are in a learning journey, We all know that in 500, 1000, I can manage to have one t-shirt, right? Or one lower, which is general. A poor person can have it, right? Yet they still wear tone dresses because they are not aware that if they go to market in cheaper rates, they can get clothes. They can dress well as well. But since they don't have that much money or their pool of thinking is less, that's why they never imagine to wear good clothes or have something because they have less money. But the moment he said I started earning money, that's when I got the perspective that living is fine. I can manage good living with few resources. This whole process came in my brain when I could earn more. The same way, if I compare it with learning, initially I thought in order to speak more, I need more vocabulary, we need to go with everything. But when we grow older, we realize we don't need a lot of resources, we just need few things and constantly strive for the same. So it's
Yeah.
about when you have less, you want to achieve more. Once you have more, that's when you aim for less. As you said, some words. You didn't pick up every word from the movies you used to
Yeah.
watch like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So over time it happens. So you build this language organically. So you don't look for shortcuts. So one
True.
message that I want to deliver to all the viewers out here is don't look for shortcuts. It's a journey again, right? And
Uh-huh.
if you can have sessions here in English Yari, and if you can have somebody to guide you for a certain period of time, use take advantage of that situation because they are there to accelerate your journey. You are just it's like having somebody guiding you and you're going forward. But at some point in life, you need to bear your own responsibility, right? You have to take the journey ahead yourself. That's the way how you go
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Can't agree more on this. They feel okay now, everything would be done by me, but sometimes it's good to take help. I can't be master of everything, right? If I don't know how to cook and I feel that okay, today I'll make 10 dishes, or I would say I would have continental food today, and I'll prepare something. When I have zero knowledge about how cooking, it's better I have someone along with me who has good knowledge of all the ingredients or all the resources used, right? The same happens with you when you join English Shari tutors. They teach you because they have already been through the journey, and more importantly, they have done mistakes. Though, say, whenever you are having a conversation with these tutors, they don't let you commit the same mistakes, isn't it, Preetham?
Yes. And always share my experiences, things that I've like probably may have not done correctly. I just try to help my learners in a way so that they don't fall in the same pit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As I told you, I still have those registers, Preetham, you won't believe. 40 words, 50 words, 100 idioms, 100 phrases by watching videos. And then I realized this is not going to work. So I would never recommend anyone to make notes on vocabulary, isn't it? What were your some of the mistakes? Let's hear that. Because I think learners would feel more relatable while listening that, okay, we have done same things.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I think all the techniques that I've applied, one way or the other, it did contribute to my language. Probably not effectively, but yeah, one way or the other, it did contribute. So once again, I'd like to suggest learners to find your own methods. Okay, it may not work, it's okay, but at least you will learn what's not working for you, and you'll find other ways that's working well for you. For me, movies worked wonders for me, but I cannot say that the same thing will work for other people, right? It did help me because I spent like hours and hours watching movies and listening to podcasts and trying to shadow and copy and do everything that's required. But a lot of people, working professionals, may not have time to watch movies for hours and hours.
True.
Isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Don't try this, please. If you try it on your own risk. What if you're watching a movie and your manager knocks your door and is like, "What are you doing?" True. That's true.
So if I can boil down to everything, then it's all about comprehensible input. So there's this thing called comprehensible input where learners can also look it up on the internet. What is comprehensible input, right? Your brain needs to understand the language. Then you'll be able to articulate yourself. Then you'll be able to speak. But if you don't understand to begin with, then it's going to be very difficult for you to just try to find the right words at the right time and trying to string a sentence together. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So here I see that there's a learner by the name Learning Lighthouse right from our episode number 2. I've seen her or him, who knows who's there behind the screen, available every time the moment we come live. So now, Learning Lighthouse, whatsoever your name is, if you're listening us, I would like to see you here with us live. Just do one thing: go to our English Yaari's handle, Instagram handle, and write hello. Our team would message you up and share this meeting link. Just in one click, you would join us. You will get the opportunity to talk to us live in the session.
Oh
Let's
wow.
see who you are really. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's a brilliant opportunity, right, for learning Lighthouse.
True that. Absolutely. I see Vansh Dhawani has done a super chant. Oh, hello, both of you. Hello, happy to join you live. We are also happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And I see a lot of people writing questions as well. Very good pronunciation. And tips. How did I miss it? No worries, you can always watch this session. Once we close our live session, it would be live on our YouTube channel as a video, so you can see that as well, or write your comments there. Okay, since I was talking to you about vocabulary, I recently talked with a language trainer on English Channel. Yes, when I talked with the tutor, our conversation was revolving around a vocabulary, right? She said that language is not about grammar, vocabulary, it's more about expression. What people do is they firstly go by vocabulary words, and then they wish they can use the vocabulary words in their sentences, right? But what I suggest, as per her, you should reverse the whole process. Firstly, make a sentence, form a sentence, and now ask yourself, in how many ways can I say the same sentence? Okay, at some point of time, challenge yourself. Initially, just ask yourself, can I make it 3 times, 4 times? After some time, challenge yourself. Today I will make maybe the simple sentences. I'll try to come tomorrow. Okay, the basic sentence. Now ask yourself, I'll make 5 other variations of this today. Try one method, second method. At some point you'll feel stuck, and that's when go to Google or any AI tool or maybe your tutor. How can I say this in a better word? Is there any word to suggest this feeling? This way, actively your brain would give you the words, and next time you'll force be to be used these words because you put in a lot of hard work in reaching the word. So don't
Mhm.
directly learn a word. Have your own journey to reach that word and make the word yours. What do you
Yeah.
think about this?
Yes, I 100% agree with you. It can be a great way to challenge yourself to try to come up with multiple expressions or different expressions to convey the same message. And you can do this with word as well, right? So there are so many words that can convey the same feeling, but of course there can be some difference in the nuance or the degree as well. But it's a great
Degree of
challenge. Yeah,
expression, yes.
yeah. And the
Mhm.
words
That's
that you
true.
have are once again unique to you. You may have this different bulk of vocabulary, which is very different from mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kind of words that you use
Yes.
regular basis, I may not use that word. And same thing that it varies from person to person as well.
True. Let's throw this challenge to all learners. What do you say? So I was thinking about giving them basic sentences, asking them in what kind of sentences they can frame. And now you've added another flair. You said with words as well, you can do the same. So now
Huh?
let's start with sentences and then with words. So you give any
Certainly.
basic sentence to our learners, and all of you get as active as possible in the chat box, because who knows, you can be the next one to join us live after this learning lighthouse. So
Mhm.
give any word to them. They will have to say that multiple times or in different variations.
I can give them a sentence. You can say, I
Yes.
enjoy the journey of learning this language. How
Oh wow, what
else?
a beautiful
Yeah.
sentence.
Okay.
Okay, something relatable. Okay, so the sentence is I am, let
I
us bring in the
enjoy
chat
the
box.
journey of learning this language. Yeah, something like that.
Mhm. Okay, I enjoy the journey of learning English is your sentence.
Awesome.
I would request support team to also paste that in the chat box. And now your time begin, where you have to think in what kind of formations I can say that. Just rephrase simply. It can be a phrase, expression, word, anything you wish to. I enjoy the, let me write it in the chat box for them. I enjoy the process of learning English. Is that it? The journey of learning English.
The journey, yeah, the journey of. See, you made a different sentence already with that.
Oh,
I like the process of learning this language. Yeah, that's another sentence to it, and there are uh, so many sentences that can be just made out of this. I enjoy the journey of learning
exactly.
this language. Yes, perfect, right? And somebody can say, I love the process of learning this language. Once again, a different sentence, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Don't drop a lot of hints to them. I want to see what kind of things they bring on the table for us. Else they'll say, "Oh, you already told the answer."
Oh,
Meanwhile, our learners are writing. We got
uh-huh.
one compliment. I think he's your regular learner. There's a learner by the name Alina's Fluent Circle says Preetham sir corrected my three things. I'm waiting
Okay.
for the next session with Preetham sir. I think we
Oh,
got a regular learner for you in the session today.
okay. Wow. That's really nice. I hope she's doing well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we already are getting a lot of response. I'll read the response out and I want to see how you react to our learners' answers. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's start with first. Ankita says that learning English makes me super happy. What do you
Wonderful.
say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sure.
Okay. Then Rakhi Kumari says, I love exploring the English language.
Uh huh. Beautiful. Yeah.
Kanchan says, English learning is right up my alley. Oh,
Alley. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, okay. That's a brilliant use of the idiomatic expression. It's right up my
yeah,
alley. Okay.
yeah. Let's see some more. Okay, they're all writing. Please don't cheat, huh? It's your test, your curiosity, and your way of thinking. We want to see what if nowadays it's so easy to take help of AI tools. People
Mhm.
just take few seconds and they're like, okay, copy paste. Is
Yeah, one thing that I'd like to add over here is that, of course, it's a great invention out there. By far, one of the best things that has happened to the internet, let's say. It makes things very easy, but let's not be dependent on this AI tools as well because it makes us handicapped. Right? So a lot of learners tell me that okay, I asked ChatGPT to write my email, but when was the last time you wrote your own email, right? What you can do is you can take help from ChatGPT and see okay how your phrase can be reframed in a certain different way in a professional manner. But you also try to do it by yourself, right? Don't be too
mm-hmm.
dependent. Otherwise, it's not actually testing you. You know, you're not growing. You're just being too complacent with your own skills.
Yes. Preetham, I can't agree more to your situation because whatever statement you said, I started my career as a content writer. So, a writer is somebody who loves to pen down thoughts every now and then. And of course, it has to be your own creation, else you'll get copyright strikes or there should be no plagiarism simply. Right now, when I see people or when I get a lot of emails from people all around, I read them. The email sounds too robotic. I feel I can generally see that it's not written by a human because when it's written by a human, you feel connected, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So what
So
you're saying is somewhere right. We should not even sound robotic or don't get into the habit where every time you say people can spot, okay, it's more of AI like.
it's not like that. Things has become pretty common nowadays. People have this tendency to turn to ChatGPT and craft a beautiful message like that. And sometimes it
Yeah.
does sound robotic or monotonous, right? But what you can
Mm-hmm.
do is you can just take inspiration from ChatGPT in a way because it does produce a lot of vocabulary, expressions, phrases, and what you can learn, you can pick one or two and just incorporate in the way how you write it yourself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh, you really have to um, tap into your own creativity, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Creation should be yours. Yes, I see some of people. Yes, I think Raki Kumari says I feel pressure to explore English. Okay. And then Nagpal Reddy says, hi, thank you for joining. Okay, here is a question. Let's see. Uh, Himant Naga says, I'm learning English, but I'm not able to find a good practice application. Okay, I asked this question at the right time. Preetham, please, he's asking what's the right place to practice. With whom, which
well, of
application
course,
is the best application?
yeah, if he is not yet a part of English Yaari, then he can definitely think about being a part of it here because a lot of learners have benefited by practicing with us. by speaking on diverse topics, talking with different tutors, learning their perspective, right? So that's one way to learn this language. And second of all, once again, immersing yourself in the language itself, watching, listening, observing, shadowing, a lot of things. There's so much to learn. So yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's so true. And I think one more thing I want to add on here is, and that would better answer your question. Let's ask Preetham directly. Preetham, people think that, okay, tutor is already fluent, they'll talk to us, they'll chat with us, and then the session would get over. The tutor is just a speaking partner to you. Can you cite me a difference between talking to a tutor versus talking to one of your friends, maybe, while you're learning a language? How is that different?
Okay, well, tutors can be your accountability partner because over here, the tutors and the expertise that they share, years of experience, of course, they have this ability to really see what's actually lacking in your language, and they have already been through that journey, right? So one can actually tell you, or one can actually help you with constructive feedback in a way where you understand where you're lacking and what you need to do. So the solutions that you have, you just have to work upon yourself, and next day you be a little better version of yourself. So there's this one quotation that I always happen to quote. It's like be 1% better than what you were yesterday. It comes from this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Although I haven't read this book completely, but it resonates with me so much. So
Okay, got that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, see, I think whenever we are talking about this language or whenever we think about talking to somebody, you should certainly talk to someone who's better from you, right? They say that you are average of five people you spend your time with. And I also see, I didn't have any business background when we started learning, or I never created content. Nowadays, you see me sometimes creating content. I didn't create any content, but I slightly started getting in touch with few creators, not just to learn from them, but also to see and get to know their mentality. The moment we started interacting, I realized, okay, the kind of problems I face today, probably they have faced that too, and whatever level they are currently is because of the journey they set.
yeah,
So if you compare yourself to a biggest creator, probably they have walked the same path. So it's your time now. Walk the path. Maybe your path would have different twists and turns, may not be the same, but somewhere
yeah,
or the other struggles are similar. So
uh-huh.
trust the process. And when you talk to a tutor, you also get to have a better idea about the language, because they've already tried and tested for sure. Secondly, they can actually guide you the moment you need it,
Uh-huh.
isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was talking to one of the learners and he said that I used to practice with one AI tool, and there's no debate about tutors or AI, of course, nothing at all. Everything has different perspective. He said I would get a lot of corrections every day, right? That this word is incorrect, this word is mispronounced, or this sentence wasn't framed. So instead of feeling good that I'm practicing, I started feeling that I make so many errors. Versus when I joined the tutors, they would appreciate my positives and tell me where I need to work upon. So we humans love a bit of compliment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It gives you this sense of motivation that you carry on, right? So in a way, so that's there, of course. And well, if we compare with, if we compare from human tutors to AI tutors, because some people, I've also been asked many times by my learners that okay, after maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, there will be somebody like AI, right, and that will teach English to other people, of
Uh-huh.
course. And there, my job is in. It's quite my job
Danger.
is yeah. Well, I tell them in a way that I don't think that I have to worry about that because people really love human connection, right? And humans are not meant to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I may strive to be perfect, but the thing is that this motivation that I have in myself, I don't think any AI can give you that. So the motivation that I have, the inspiration that I have right now, it just rubs off on my learners in a way, the way how I share my stories. They get inspiration from that because AI, they can't make mistakes. Even if they do, they're they're just fault in the programs, right? Other than that,
True.
they are full of information. They know everything, right? So
That's so
yeah,
true.
the idea is just to not to be perfect, but to strive for
Uh-huh.
perfection and just continue this journey in a way to be as natural as possible. So that is it. And I wish somebody
Yes.
told me this before. Yeah, because I didn't have anybody to guide me.
Yes,
I
that's
think
true.
if I had
Life
somebody,
become easy. Yeah, life
yeah,
become easy when you start taking help from others,
that
isn't
yeah,
it?
right. That's right. That's right. That's why I think I
But
spent a lot of time learning this language, about 5, 6 years perhaps. If I had somebody to guide me when I first started, probably
mhm.
1 or 2 years, right? They would at least show me the right path, nudge me in the right direction, and I would know. I would not waste a lot of time doing things
Mhm.
that didn't help me.
Yes, around 60 plus people are live. They're seeing us live here. Firstly, thank you so much. And as I said, this is the month end. So around 55% off is what you can avail at English Yaari's plan. So I saw somebody saying that I find this a bit expensive. Go check out the plans and start your language learning journey with expert tutors. And who knows that whenever you're with a trainer, your journey becomes little easy. You don't stress a lot yourself. There's somebody who's there to see you, help you, guide you exactly when you need it. So go right away. There's a question by Avadesh saying that, good evening, ma'am. So, how can I stop the fear of speaking? I'm able to speak alone, but in front of people, I get stuck and I feel nervous. So, could you please suggest? I want to literally improve. Tell me. It's a
Okay,
common question, I guess.
it is a common question, and we have all been there. I think some people can be an exception. Why? Because they have had the situation quite an early stages of their lives. But I was not. I was not an exception. Why? Because I also have had this fear of public speaking, being in front of people and trying to share my thoughts. I've frozen. I've drawn a blank. So I have been in that kind of situation. But the solution to this is only to take the plunge. You really have to get out of your comfort zone, right? There's no other way. You cannot really overcome your fear of public speaking by taking sessions behind the screen. Of course, that will help you if you take sessions one-on-one remotely, like as well. It will develop your language. You can enhance your fluency. You will be comfortable with the language. But public speaking is something that you have to do in front of people. You have to get out of that room, and you have to be in front of people and see. Okay, of course you will fail. You're not going to be perfect. You will fail. You'll get nervous, and you may not know what to say, and you can blank out. But that's the journey. That's the way how it is. Next time you go there, you'll probably at least say a few words, few lines, and if you
Exactly.
repeatedly show up, then you eventually you overcome this fear of public speaking. In fact, not just public speaking, but any fear that's out there. There's
True,
somebody,
that's
yeah, this talk about this fear, flight and fight. This,
fear of, yeah, either you fight the situation or
uh,
you flight mode. You are just freezing or you're saying, okay, sorry, can't do. And you need to understand this thing, whosoever asked this question, Avdesh, I guess, that everybody in life, whosoever you seek or admire today, check their first video or check their first interview experience or anybody, they have felt this nervousness. So you're not having this feeling alone. There are thousands of people out there who have this feeling. Till date, when I want to join live, 2 minutes before, I feel, okay, how would the live session go? What kind of questions learner would ask? And then I'm like, okay, take a deep breath in and start. And I came across a psychology. I was reading about the muscle memory connection and basically how muscles grow. So then I got to know people feel that, okay, you hit the gym in order to be improve your muscles, but actually when you hit the gym, you're breaking your muscles. The moment you lift weights, you're breaking your muscles. And the moment you come home and you feed yourself the right food, that
uh-huh,
helps your muscle recover. Next day, you
yeah,
go hit the gym again, you break the muscle. Again, you come home, feed yourself, move out. So, what you're actually doing, you're breaking the muscle in the gym. You come home, you're feeding your muscles to recover. Again,
yeah,
breaking them. This is the similar process of learning any skill for that matter. So, if you are actively participating or you're trying to talk to people, maybe I feel I meet Preetham out of not virtually. Maybe I see Preetham someday walking on a road and I meet him. So, if I'm nervous, let me just talk to him. Let me not have a full conversation, but I can have a small talk. I can talk to him. How are you? I saw you there.
uh,
Maybe Now this is like you're breaking your muscles, you're breaking your barrier. You spoke. Next time comes, English study sessions are like behind the things working. Next time you
Uh-huh.
go to a tutor, you say that I want to practice this. So you're feeding your brain with the right information. Go to your office, talk to any other colleague, come back to the session. So keep on breaking your muscles and giving them chance to recover. And one day you'll see that you land into the place where you manage to speak well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And this nervousness is a human emotion. If you're not getting nervous, then probably you're a machine, right? So embrace this emotion and try to overcome, like step by step. It's a
Yes.
gradual process, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something
So
that I haven't.
yeah, let me
Yeah.
tell you a hilarious feeling. So recently, when I visited Rishikesh, so I signed up for bungee jumping. That okay, this
Uh-huh.
time I want to do something thrilling in my life. So all
Yeah.
of my colleagues as well, and I was excited to that. Oh, we'll have a great jump. The moment they were harnessing me, I was feeling nervous and jittery. My body was shaking. Like I could visibly see my hand shaking. The whole vibration mode on.
Okay.
So there was an expert. I said, I think there's something wrong. He said, why? I said, I'm feeling so nervous. He said, that means you're right. I said, what does that mean? He said, if you're not feeling nervous, then something is wrong in you. If you're feeling nervous, that's the whole thing about it. So I learned that day how important feeling nervous is. Because I was around 60 meter height. Once you're
Uh,
falling down, you should feel nervous, of course. And that gives you a thrill. So as you said, nervousness is an emotion. One should be nervous. So true.
and probably next time when you sign up for bungee jumping, you will not be as nervous as how you were the other day, right? As before, isn't it?
That's
Because
true. Somebody asked me that would you try again? I said I would. Yes. That's true. That's true.
that's
Okay.
the way how it works. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, did you anytime feel this fear as well in your journey? If you could share any anecdote or about learners at English Shari when they talk to you for the first time?
Yes, yes. I always used to dread speaking in front of people, especially when it comes to presentations and all. Because when you were in college, there's a this in one of your semesters you have to deliver a presentation. So I remember particularly in my
Okay.
masters, there was this presentation that I have to deliver, and the the invigilator was from a different university. Okay, so
Okay.
I was out there trying to present my PPT. Okay, and I was just reading off the script. Okay, and he said, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm presenting. Okay, oh, I can see that as well. You have to really present. But what I was just doing, I was just reading off the script, and I was so nervous at that time. I just couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have always dreaded these kind of situations when I have to speak in front of people. I don't know what happened to me. I thought that something was wrong in me, but actually, because these things were very new to me, it was so foreign that I didn't know how to handle. Now, quite recently, I spoke in front of hundred of people, if not more. Then it was around 140, 150, and that was my first time delivering a speech, something I had never fathomed doing like earlier. But because I've exposed myself enough to such kind of opportunities, speaking in front of people, it's a greatest accomplishment for me, and particularly for me because I used to be very nervous of public speaking. So it's all about taking the plunge. It's always about throwing yourself out there and getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. So that's my
So
piece
true.
of advice to everybody who fears public speaking or anything.
Wonderful. And you should set realistic goals, as they say, Preetham, right? Imagine while you were learning the language and you would have signed up for speaking in front of 100 people, you've surely made fool out of yourself that, oh, I'm not able to speak, I'm not able to express. The idea is simple. Even when you go and practice your sessions with English Shari tutors, they know in which segment you need help, what is majorly important right now. Once the foundation is set, then they take you one step at a time. A lot of learners, when they are practicing alone, the major mistake they do is they start working on their vocabulary, their sentence construction, voice modulation, accurate grammar, accurate pronunciation, and what not. So it's exactly like you're a small child. You've started eating. Maybe you've started having liquid items, but now you're feeding. Okay, I'll have two slices of pizzas or two burgers as well. When you're just 6 months or 7 months old, you can't really have this much appetite or you can't absorb. So why are you signing up for the same? Isn't
Uh,
it? So you should have a
yeah,
portion of everything.
It's about knowing your level as well. Yeah, absolutely, rightly pointed out. It's about knowing your level and trying to comprehend what you understand and gradually leveling yourself up. Like
True.
you can't be suggesting high level English podcast or BBC News to somebody who's just getting on with this language, right? So they
Uh-huh.
should really understand things, which is very simpler.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, one should do the same as well. Now, on this note, I want to ask you, what do you do in your sessions whenever you meet learners? In one session, you're talking to maybe a corporate employee. In the second session, you're talking to somebody who's preparing for interviews, who's between the job, or different people, right? So, what's your strategy? How do you plan your teaching based upon your learners?
It really depends on the learner as well. Well, firstly, I ask what are the expectations from my session, particularly. Yeah, what exactly do they
Okay.
want to work upon, right? If they have questions, I right away get down into it. If it's grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, whatever. But let's say if somebody doesn't know what to expect from my sessions, I just try to help them, or I just converse with them. Basically, it's just basic interaction first,
Okay.
and I try to understand their lacunas, the gaps that they have in the language, and I try to take a note of them, and I just give them
Okay.
the report. Okay, so these are your areas where you have to work upon. Absolutely. The thing is that you don't work here on this platform. I help you identify, and of course, you work upon yourself. Uh, you try to go the extra mile or try to spare some time and work upon these
Mm-hmm.
areas. Whether somebody is struggling with the grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, whatever that is, next time they join me, they come a little prepared, and then we understand the language, and I clear their doubts, and I help them understand how they need to tackle a particular problem in your language. So that's about it. It's
Exactly.
organic. Yeah, it's organic as it can get.
Truly, and all of you should get this clear. The basic foundation of English Shari is all the tutors give you space to speak, express your ideas without any judgment, without any opinion. If you share something with tutor Preetham, I'm sure Preetham is not going to guess or make any perceptions about you. Even if he does, he knows nothing about you, your family members, so he's not going to say out to people what you believe in. You can share your ideas freely, your thoughts freely. That's one. Secondly, as you just said, Preetham, our idea is to make sure that we give them organically speaking options. We do a lot of activities in our sessions. It's not just a chit chat. We do so many activities, storytelling, role plays. What kind of practices do you do in your sessions?
Well, I can't really remember any incorporating any kind of activity, so I don't do fancy activities with my learners. But especially when I meet an advanced speaker, okay, somebody who's really good at this language already, I help them develop their impromptu speaking. And
Okay.
some people, they they speak, but they often ramble. They try to
Happens.
talk about a concept, but the thing is that they don't know what they're exactly talking about. So I help them employ certain frameworks, because
Uh-huh.
frameworks are like gold. Like if you have the frameworks in your mind and you're able to articulate or structure your thoughts in a particular fashion, then you stand out. So I train in such manner. Of course, there are a lot of other activities that you can employ as well, but yeah, it
Exactly.
depends on the level of the learner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True that, true that. See, a lot of learners every time, as they say, they're always keen on learning new words, new phrases. Since you are the one who try bringing something new or the other, why don't you give some common, your favorite words maybe, or some phrases that learners can take away or can use in everyday life?
Okay.
Something for them. Whatever
Well, it
comes to
really
your brain.
okay. It really depends on the context, and depends on what we are actually talking about. Mm, but
Like
yeah.
something that you use in this session, maybe they can better relate to it.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. I think I made use of this word called fathom. It's not a regular word, but I've seen a lot of people using it. The word fathom, right?
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Why don't
What
you
is
tell
it?
them meaning as well? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I use it in a context where I said I cannot really fathom something. Okay, which means that I have this inability to understand a certain thing, that I'm not able to understand something, right? So I feel that I may have heard this word used by somebody, a public figure, in one of the interviews, right? And I got
Okay.
really, oh wow, it just struck me. Okay, what a wonderful word, and how beautifully he or she used it. I happen to do my own research and make multiple sentences. Now I have incorporated quite naturally in my own way. So yeah, I make one or two use of such words. Although this is an advanced word, I would not recommend a beginner level learner to try and force a vocabulary. But if it comes naturally, then yeah, you go about it. Why not?
What a wonderful point. One should strive for words that come naturally to you. Many times it sounds forceful. I talked with one of the, I think, I don't remember the person actually. I was talking to the person. While he was speaking to me, he was using great vocabulary words, and it's good, it's a positive sign. But does that mean this person speaks amazingly well in this language? Not really. I couldn't feel connected to what he was saying because words didn't sound natural. I could clearly see that he's gently pushing himself that, oh, I have to use this word while I'm talking to Shruti. So I said,
Uh,
it's okay, be at ease. We are
yeah, not
here
like
to
that. You shouldn't force yourself, right? If it comes
yeah, we are not
naturally,
here to do this.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen such people as well in your life, maybe?
Yes, yes. There have been a lot of times when I've come across learners who try and force
Mm-hmm.
the words that they have learned, probably from newspapers, right? And I tell them deliberately, okay, do not, because there's something unnatural about the entire phrasing of that particular sentence. So I tell them, okay, is that word right in your sentence? I ask them, I let them think, okay? They say, oh, it doesn't sound natural. Yes, then why don't you choose a simple word, right? So
True.
yeah, you don't want to sound robotic. You don't want to be sound synthetic, artificial in a way, how you are speaking this language. If you look at native speakers, they don't use a lot of advanced words every time when they are having a conversation
Indeed.
with their friends, families. Yeah, yeah. So it's all about staying natural. That is it.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for helping us out. So you got one word, which is phantom. Any phrase that you feel can use, any expression that you feel. We have given one word,
Oh,
let's give one more expression.
okay. One expression that I often happen to use is right off the bat. Right off
Okay,
the
all
bat.
right.
Should I
Mm-hmm.
type it here or right off the
No
bat? I will
worries, you
just
can.
say it. Okay. To do something immediately. Okay, right off the bat. Okay, so let's get down with
Mm-hmm.
it right off the bat, right? Or if you ask me to think about something, okay, I'm not able to think of this any word right off the bat or something like that, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
another expression I can think of right now is off the top of my head. These are really
Yes.
natural expressions. It's not an idiom that you have to memorize, but it should come naturally. And how did I learn this?
Yes.
Movies by observing other people. I've spoken to so
Okay.
many people that uh, I just happen to just learn, just subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
not deliberately, but subconsciously. I happen to pick up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was talking to one of the tutors, I think in English, Yaari talk show, maybe episode 3 or 4. And I said many times you use a word, and then if you feel that when did I learn this word, you are not able to catch, but you end up using that. So there are some words which are stored in your subconscious when you read, when you write, when you speak. Maybe I'm talking to Preetham after some time, I pick up the words that he was speaking. So your
yeah.
brain is quite smart. So don't underestimate the power of your brain, I would say. Right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. I'll give you one
Um,
example. There's another word
Please.
called dwindle. Okay, dwindle. So other day I was
Yeah.
speaking to somebody, and she is a fantastic speaker. Okay, and the way how he used this word dwindle, okay, I got really enchanted. Oh wow, what a beautiful way to use this word dwindle, which means to decrease. Okay, so she said that just because I'm not speaking English anymore, my vocabulary seems to be dwindling. Okay, and I got impressed right away. So dwindle means to decrease. For example,
Yes.
you can talk about stocks. And the stocks has dwindled. The stocks for a particular company dwindled. Okay, something
Mm-hmm.
that goes down.
True.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that's the way
exactly.
you observe. You just have to have these ears for listening.
Yes. And I would like to highlight that it was not just the word which got your attention, but it was the right framework in which it was used, right? So it was not that if I say that, okay, this is a word I learned lately, you would not probably say, oh, wow, that's
Hmm.
good. But if I frame a sentence or that comes, I use it naturally in my speech, that would create the difference, right?
Yeah, so I think you put it the right way. When you use it in a right context and the right phrase,
Yes.
then you stand out. Yeah, not by forcing a particular.
Absolutely. Yes, and this marks one complete hour of us being live on this platform.
Oh, it's been an hour already. Okay.
Yes,
Didn't even
time
realize.
flies.
Okay, I think I spoke
Absolutely,
a lot
that's
today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
so true. That's so true. Amazing. Now, thank you so much, firstly, to all of you who join us sharp on time. Even now, I can see more than 40 people watching us live here. It's August month and it's the last day, right? If you count down, tell me how many months are left for this year. Every time we set up a goal, this year I'm going to do this, do that, but you never know how it flips away. Your goals change. So stop feeling any way, start taking actions right away. Don't just feel I want to improve English. Tell yourself that I have to improve it right from now. I should take some actions to improve. And one of that actions could be talking to somebody who can really help you, who can support you without any barriers, I would say. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then thanks to you, Tutor Preetham, for sharing firstly your journey, which makes us believe that even if you don't start learning this language in your school days or your college days, you can still have a great way or a great field to experiment, and there's no age which can bound you or stop you to improve this language, right?
Yeah. And thank you so much for having me as well. It has been an absolute pleasure. And one needs to be really passionate about this language to really stand out. So yeah, that's what I would like to suggest to all the learners out here. Just be
Yes.
really passionate about this language.
Mhm. What my takeaways are, I'll share with you all, whosoever is watching us. And after that, once we drop this live session, you have to write or comment down below what you felt or what would you take away from this session. So my takeaways, number one takeaway was that, of course, I just said you can learn in any age, any background you come from. Second was whenever you are learning a language, it's a journey. So don't feel that on day one, I can be like Tutor Preetham. He had his own journey that nobody knows, but today we did try to tap a bit into. So please make sure that you don't know the backstory. You just look at successful people. You look at Shah Rukh Khan, you look at Susmita Sen, you look at reporters speaking, but you never know the kind of hard work they've invested. So your journey is going to be your journey, which will take time, but surely would show the results sooner or later. That was my second takeaway. And the third takeaway is plan according to your appetite. So when you're learning this language, don't think today itself I will land for everything right. My grammar, my vocabulary, everything should be to the point. That's not possible. You should learn it to a T and then start the journey. Am I right? Anything else that I missed out on, Tutor Preetham, that you can add on?
I think you did this so brilliantly because you condensed the entire conversation into three key takeaways. And wow, I felt that it was more of an like impromptu session, but I think it's
Mhm.
quite beautiful that the way how you put it, everything out there. Three key takeaways. Perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
one should always, I say this to all my learners or even anyone I meet, and this is what I learned from my mentors.
Mhm.
Any conversation that you have, write below what was the conclusion of the conversation.
Uh-huh.
Never end a conversation without getting or going towards the conclusion. Sometimes we talk to our friends or we are just complaining each other. What was the conclusion? You're like, oh, just call dropped randomly. Or maybe I'm talking to my colleague. I was
Mhm.
sharing the ideas. How do you conclude it matters. So every time you watch a movie, you watch a video, you watch anybody, even you're
Uh-huh.
watching us, write below. And I'll personally check what you people are writing about this session,
Uh-huh.
comprehend what it had for you. Isn't it?
Yeah.
We all can have
Yes.
different things. Maybe my idea of takeaways were different because I was focusing on what I need in my life, and your way could be different too.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's my key takeaway from today's session. Yeah, because I'm in my own journey and it's something that I can add to my own learning, right? So thank you so much, Rudy, for
Yes.
that.
Wonderful. I thank you for getting some time out of your schedule for our learners and helping us patiently. We were more towards reality today. We were having a conversation where we didn't tell them just, okay, do this, do that. We actually told on the root cause, and the root cause is people are not trying. You should put in some efforts in order to get the fruits that you desire, right? And thanks for being that honest. Thanks for being that transparent, for sharing what you did wrong. And even I tried. Every time I tried to be as raw as possible because I've done hilarious things in my life. So I always have context too. I really appreciate you. I'm sure that the learners you could see today in a chat box can experience session with you. That one
Yeah,
I'm
I'm really
pretty
looking
sure.
forward to having sessions with them.
Superb. On this note, shall we wrap this session up?
Yeah, we can do that. Yes.
Yes.
And once again,
Okay.
it's
Any
been an
final
absolute
word from your end?
Well, yeah. So, like Shruti already condensed everything into the key takeaways. So, what I would just like to ask my learners or all the viewers is to just never give up, because there are going to be frustrations in life and in this language particularly, because it's not our main language; it's a foreign language, and plus we know a lot of other different languages as well along with English. So, if there's ever a time that you're not able to communicate, it's okay. Maybe it's just one of those bad days, right? But there are going to be other days where you're going to feel really confident about yourself, right? And just learn from that bad experience. That's it. It's a journey of frustrations, but please never give up. And you really have to come out of that frustrations or whatever, so that one day you can say, okay, wow, I've had so many frustrations. Now I'm here and I can be confident. I can express myself so well. I think that's my life in a nutshell as well.
Wonderful. I think that's the core idea of learning anything or life perhaps. You should constantly go on, never give up. Thank you. On this note, we wrap the session, but you continue your learning journey, and I'll see you next time with episode number 8. Till then, have a great evening, enjoy, and get all ready, all set for Monday. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Shruti. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah.